In this video, I'm going to show you how to create a paper miniature out of basically anything, so that whatever minis you need for D&D or Pathfinder or OnePageRules or Frostgrave or any other tabletop role-playing game or war game, you can have it at the table. My name is Jack Edward, and this is Play Material. Hello, guys and dolls, ladies and gentlemen, wise counselors and wicked wizards, friends, enemies, lovers. Hey, why is it that in modern fantasy novels, we always get friends to lovers, but never lovers to friends? Like, where is our dark fantasy novel about a evil necromancer who's like, whoa, the shape of my marriage is no longer serving me. Let's find a new sort of arrangement here where the connection is less romantic and mainly based on like mutual support. Listen, I'm here to talk about paper miniatures. You may have seen the ultimate guide to paper minis. That was my last video as part of Play Material. But I got a question. Jack, what if I want to make my own custom miniatures? What if I've got artwork from the internet or from Hero Forge and I want to turn any of that into something like this? And I thought to myself, I'm not going to make that video. And guess what? Here I am making it. So I'm going to show you how to turn basically anything into a paper miniature for free. Though I will say, basically everything here is art that I don't own, but I'm not reselling anything. I'm just using it for personal purposes. And most people are totally cool with you just like grabbing stuff and using it at home. If you're not selling it, there's no shade in that. It's cool. So what I've laid out here is some of the stuff I'm going to show you today, because what I've got is everything from, this is official Wizards of the Coast art for D&D. This is just some image I found on Google Images. Sorry, I don't have the credit for it. This is a photograph of a literal, like, physical miniature that I've done the processing on. And then this is from Hero Forge, and I'm going to do a tutorial on how to set all these up as minis. But I want to show you guys here that anything you've got, you can adapt for this purpose. What do you need? Preferably something that's like a full-length piece of art where you can see, tip of the head to the toe. But that's not always necessary, as we'll see. So usually something full length, and then something where it stands off of the background at least a little. I'll get into that in a little bit. And then, so where do you find these things? Like, I find you can use Google Images, Pinterest. Instagram is not easily searchable, but there's stuff there. Official art, monster art, concept artists. There are the major paper minis makers. If you go down into the bio, you will find, not the bio, if you go down into the video description, I'll put a link to my blog where I've got a list of the major paper minis makers. And you can even make your own art. Like, you can, if you're a digital artist, I don't know anything about that. That stuff's pretty cool. If you are making your own digital art and then you want to paper miniaturize it, this tutorial will be useful. So the only things you'll need are the piece of art in question, and also probably a general idea of how big you want the mini to be. So for example, as you can see this one, you want to know generally, okay, from the tip of his bow to his elbow, how big is that? As you'll see in the tutorial, I thought it was about 1 inch, and then the mini ended up being too small. It was actually, it's actually a little more than that. And to tease what I'm about to show you, it looks like most paper miniatures makers make it so that when you download a mini, you get a sheet that can be printed right out on cardstock and worked with, as you've seen in the Ultimate Guide to Paper Minis. But we're going to be creating that one of those sheets custom. This is the end result of what we kind of want here, which leads to these. So let's oh snap, I'm making all sorts of noise and breaking things. So you're going to need a JPEG or a PNG of whatever, an image of whatever you're trying to turn to a paper mini, and then a general idea of how big it's going to be. So let's go to the screen record and see how the magic happens, the workshop. Oh, and we're going to use Canva. Canva, the That's the software. We're going to be the free online software we're using to make these sheets, but you can use whatever you're comfortable with, whether that's like the Adobe Creative Suite, Microsoft Word, Pages, whatever. Okay, let's go. So this is Canva. I'm going to be using Canva for this tutorial, but I've done this in Microsoft Word. I've done this in a couple of different Adobe apps. Whatever you feel most comfortable in, you can use. But I recommend Canva because it is you can't see my hands anymore. It's a free design tool that I think is incredibly easy, and anybody can sign in and make an account. I'm going to be using one premium feature, but you don't need it, and I'm going to get to that. So the first thing you're going to do is you're going to log into Canva. As you can see, I use it for all sorts of stuff. My even the video graphics you see for all my videos, it's really cool. Anyway, first thing you're going to need to do is create a design 8.5 by 11 because that's your size you're going to use. This automatically fills it here, but you can do custom size. Switch from pixels to inches. 8.5 by 11. Great. And then you go create new design. Do I want to just create new design? Yeah. Okay. Here. So I've already uploaded a few examples. As I said, you can use, so go over here to uploads. You could just drag and drop this stuff in, but I've already dragged and dropped it in. I've got, so I've got a piece of official Wizards of the Coast art that is scanned in from a book. I've got something I found off of Google Images that meets the mission for me, and I've got literally a picture of a miniature that somebody painted. I should find out what the credit that is. Who credit that person? 1 second. It's from Archvillain Games, the miniatures, which I think is awesome, from their Tooth and Tusk line. And this is painted by the Halfling Painter, and I thought it was just so cool. It's the image I want, fully painted, fully colorized, but I just want to make it a paper mini, so I've got this. And then I have Hero Forge, something from Hero Forge. So if you want something, this is going to be really custom, really elaborate. I have a player in my D&D campaign we designed up the full color mini. And then if you check my ultimate guide to paper minis, you can see exactly how I put this together. So if you want to know how I got these images custom designed, go to the ultimate guide to paper miniatures by me, play material in the channel, Jack Edward. And at the 20-minute mark, I'll walk through how to get these screenshots here. So here's the images. First thing we want to do is we want to prep our images. These two up here are pretty good. And so they're not the right size yet, but we don't really need to do anything to get them ready. But for here, we're going to need to get rid of those backgrounds because we want a nice white backdrop. Now, you can use a free background remover. They're all over the internet. You just Google, background remover free, and you'll end up with something, janky and covered with pop-up ads, but it'll be usable. This is the only premium element in Canva I'm going to talk about. Canva has a really good background remover built in. So if you go to Edit Photo and you're using premium Canva and you have a subscription, you click background remover and look at that. It's killer. I'm going to use it over here. And I'm going to use it over here. Sick. Oh my gosh. And just for my sake, just for housekeeping, I'm going to trim this up to size. And by the way, one of the really cool things is I want to actually trim this right up to the bottom claw of this monster I want. Bring him over there like this. Okay. Now, I'm going to make these guys small and just show you how to set up this workspace. Once you've got all the images, you drop them in, you prep them up. The first thing you need to do is you need to set out your line. So in whatever you're using in Microsoft Word or whatever, find the line tool. And actually in Canva, I'm going to use I want to use a dotted line just to save on ink. It doesn't matter how thick your line is. This is going to be the line you fold the mini on. In Canva, you can move around like that, but it doesn't matter how thick it is. I'm just going to make it kind of like the thinnest. Yeah, actually, I'm going to make it maybe like that. It really doesn't matter because it's going to be way outside of your rough cut. So one of the things you'll need is how, as I mentioned before, is you want to know how big you want your mini. And I think I want this one about, this one's a little bit bigger than your normal average everyday guy. So he's going to be about, let's see what this says, 1.5 inches wide, fully 2 inches tall. Yeah, let's do that. You take your mini, you're going to duplicate it like this. You have 2 versions of the image. You're going to put them equidistant from the line. It looks like I need to move my line down. Equidistant from the line. Give it a little bit of breathing room on all sides for cutting. There, as you can see, it's showing equidistant at like 0.427 whatever inches. And now you take one and you do a vertical flip, and there you go. Now we can put more stuff on the line. I'm going to do this one right here. I'm going to do it the same way. This guy's big. I'm going to approximate it like this. Duplicate him. Equidistant from the line again. Is he also left? Yeah, we got to snap these guys together, as you see. And flip vertical. That way, I'm going to zoom in so you see. That way, when we fold this mini all over this line, it's going to match up, and when we cut around it, it'll be perfectly mirrored. Now, I actually want to. Oops. Well, now, by the way, now I messed that up. I'm going to need to redo that. So this is pretty much. I mean, look, this is pretty much the process. You could even, if you needed to, I don't really do this much, turn 90 degrees like that. But this becomes a horizontal flip when you do it like this. But maybe you're trying to make space and whatever, and that's the way you've got it. Now, I just want to show one last thing. What I just showed you is the full process for minis that are the same on both sides. But you need to do a little bit of extra processing if you've got a mini that's front back like this and you've made it yourself, right? So these come from a screenshot. But the screenshot, as you see, isn't the exact same size, right? Like they're not perfectly lined up. So here's what you want to do. You want to prep it like this. Get in close. So get in as close as possible. I'm pinch zooming. And trim them. Trim them like this, right? You get right to the outside edges of the mini itself, right? Like that. Yeah, okay, that on that side. I know this is like takes a little extra step, but it's going to be beautiful and worth it. This character is named Hans, and he's absolutely an enormous cannon and just a villainous guy. Tons of damage, and a great story, and a truly roguish, hideous character. Okay, so now we've got them ready like that. You're going to line them up like this, find the upmost element, and kind of like see. So the bow is the highest point on this mini. We're just going to try to make the bow the same size top to bottom. There it is. Snaps together. They're the same height, bottom to top, and that's the same size. We are going to flip horizontal. So now look, I mean, those guys line up. When we cut that, that's going to be perfect, right? And we're going to do the same process as before. You know, get him up to our line. Oh, let's make sure he's the right size, right? So what does he need to be? I think he needs to be no. Now I'm messing this up. Okay. Don't change their sizes independently. I need to get them together. Again, snap them together. Select them both. And then I need to get their width to be, what do we think? 1 inch, basically. Let's just say 1 inch. Yeah, and how does he look compared now to our monster up here? Yeah, it's about the size I want. Again, get him up to our line. Up to the line. Ooh, cutting it close, but that's going to be okay. That's going to be okay. And now I'm going to flip vertical. Actually, I want to scooch these guys closer because you can get them up pretty close. You just want to make sure we have equidistance. Boom. There it is. Okay. And that's our sheet. That's it, guys. So, look, that's a sheet of paper minis. Obviously, we just have a couple because I wanted to show you different types. But you could really crowd this thing out. And also, one of the cool things about Canva is it's got all sorts of little features. Like, let's just say I select both of these and I want to make multiples. I can just duplicate like that and just, like, make maybe you've got an army, right? You can make, like, a whole line of rangers like this. My worst nightmare is like 15 different versions of this one character. Yeah, look at that. I mean, and now we've got a sheet of archers. How great is that? So that's the tutorial. The last thing you basically need to do here. Oh, you know what? And before we export, I'm going to do export. But I think the last thing we really want to do is you're going to print this, and it might end up being the wrong size. It might end up not being perfect. So just the cool thing is you can select all, and you just slightly scale stuff down. Or you can, let's just say you've got those monsters too big, you can just scale certain elements down, and you might have to play with it, and it is what it is. And then at the end of this whole process, you just go up to the share section right up here, scroll down to download, and select PDF. Look, there's high quality PDF print. You really don't need that. PDF standard is absolutely fine. You download that, and you have your PDF within seconds. And how do you turn that? Once you've got the PDF, what do you do from there? You follow the Ultimate Guide to Paper Miniatures, and it'll show you how to get to your finished product. Okay, let's get back onto the desk. And now we're back on the desk, and look what we have here. This is what we made. Obviously, as I showed you in the tutorial, it's not, the size isn't right. It's not where I want it to be. Everything's kind of a little bit small. So eventually you resize it out again, and you end up with the right arrangement. You might have to fiddle with it a little, like I said. But this is craft ready. And again, if you look at the crafting section of my video, The Ultimate Guide to Paper Minis, you'll see how we turn this into this. I'm not going to go over that all again now. There's only like 2 more things I want to show you, which are little other things you can use to improvise paper minis. So I'm going to do a little bit of kind of craft stuff for you here. One thing, where's a Litco base? I'm going to get a Litco base. And I'm back. Okay, we got this Litco base. You can take just a character portrait. Here's Hans, right? So that player who wanted that paper mini, he saw this art on D&D Beyond. It's from Rime of the Frost Maiden, and he was like, that guy's ugly. That's my character. I want him to look like this. So we made this Hero Forge to match. But let's just say you don't want to make something that's really representational. You can always just take a portrait like this and print it, use Canva to lay it out head to head like that, glue it, and then shove it in a Litco base. My Ultimate Guide to Paper Minis has the info and Litco bases like this, and use that on the table. These are 1-inch squares, and it fits inside the 1-inch squares, and it shows you where everybody's placed. So if you're doing a little bit more, it's a little bit more imaginative sometimes to use something like this instead of something direct, because it helps you sort of be more intimate with what sort of the camera sees during combat. I don't know if that connects with you, but you can use something like that. Or one thing I recommend if you do this often is you can craft hold on, I'm going to get a little index card, craft little standees like this. Here, let me show you how to make a paper mini standee. That is blank and fresh that you can just kind of write on. I'll show you what you're going to end up with. We're going to end up with this little paper triangle thing that looks like that you can put here. And you can carry a bunch of these around. Here's the way I make these. You take an index card, you cut so that it's about, I don't know, what is that, 3/4 of an inch or something like that? Yeah, you see. We're going to fold it, and then we're going to make it into a 4 parts with a little triangle base. So the top part is longer, the bottom part is shorter. So you see like that, right? Grab your glue stick. So you've got this little triangle. Grab your glue stick, and you're going to glue these little footies together like this. I'll let that dry. I've got one over here that is not dry. That is already dry. You take, and once this is nice and solid, you just push your little finger in here, and you fold this like this until it makes like, I don't know, it kind of looks like the Starfleet thing from Star Trek, right? It looks like that. And then you can, where's a pen or a little marker or something? You can write, let's just say we're doing Hans, right? You just write Hans. I know this looks so bad. But if you need to improvise and you don't have paper minis for something, but you've got 100 paper minis out and all of a sudden an NPC shows up, you whip these, you out a bunch of these, you whip one out of your bag, you write a name on it, or you have one of your players. I've got a player who likes to draw on them, and then you whip that out and you can throw that on the board. I would show you some of the ones that I have. I used to use these all the time. I would show you a more elaborate one, but these just, if you let them, they'll just pile up in your house like madness. And so I throw them out in giant fistfuls at a time. And that's it. That's the whole thing, man. Non-figurative portraits. I've lost Hans already. Here he is. I've got these little standees, and now you can make paper minis from anything. And that's all the videos. I've got plenty more table accessories, but that's going to be for 1 or 2 more videos. I'm going to show you how to make like ultimate dungeon terrain using paper and wood instead of like foam core. And then I'm going to show you just like all the little accessories I use for gridded combat. Mancala stones and my favorite vinyl mats that I use. And then that's going to be sort of, I think, it for play material, but not the podcast and not all the other stuff I've got going on. So please like and subscribe. I've got my blog, and like get into the comments. I don't even care if it's off topic. Like I talk to everybody who comments. I really, love to like build little bits of digital community around what I'm doing, but mainly I do this to be in dialogue with people and help them out. So if any of this is helpful to you, let me know, and thank you for coming back. My name is Jack Edward. This is Play Material, and I'm so happy to have you guys here every time, and I hope you got something out of this. So throw this shit on the table and go have an absolute blast with your buddies. Go out and play games. Have fun. Find your people. Have a great time, and come back soon. Okay, bye.